Hey, what's up, YouTube? Well, I am making a video a bit earlier in the morning so that the sun doesn't mess it up. And unfortunately, well, I guess it could be fortunately in a way, it's going to be pretty cloudy today, so I really shouldn't have to worry about that all that much. Okay? And I'm not using the microphone today because I hope to make this pretty quick. Get this out the way. Just some kind of a blood pressure machine. So what I'd like to talk about today, or what I might want to title this, might be 14 years. Oh my gosh. I want to start out talking about how, I think it was a year ago when I made a video where I mentioned that I had been on Yahoo Answers for 13 years. I think the title was I Hate Pajamas or something like that, and especially Rugrat pajamas, I'd like to add this year because I actually did see some. I would never wear that. Okay. I want to talk about how I have been, well, it's almost 14 years since I've been a level 7 participant. Today is the day when I created my level 7 profile on Yahoo Answers with a male avatar, and I think the name I used was Robert or something like that. That really isn't the name that I would go by if I decided to live as a male, but at the time, for some reason, it appealed to me. I don't know, something about that name. I guess the fact that it's such an ordinary guy's name, it's pretty timeless, and that you hear a lot of old men, new baby boys, and everything in between with that name. You know, it's a very common name and always has been. Okay, so I don't know why I liked it so much, but I guess I chose to participate as Robert on Yahoo Answers on April 16th, 2007, and I reached level 7 by October 21st of that year, and I had been suspended as a participant with my real name, in addition to lots of other puppet accounts with various names. And what had happened was, in November of the previous year, I had been suspended for point gaming, which means that I was using my other accounts to help me vote. Really shouldn't have done that, you know, if I'd have known how seriously the answer team would take that. You know, but I don't know, they just took it very seriously. And in November of 2006, I was suspended, but the email portion of my original account still works. Okay, and what, you know, the most amazing part of all is, just like all my other obsessions, it's amazing how I can go from knowing absolutely nothing about a subject matter, you know, just like the Rugrats. I can go from knowing absolutely nothing about, you know, what I become obsessed with. But then one day I get exposed to it, and then it quickly escalates into an obsession. And that's exactly what happened with Yahoo Answers in 2006. I actually did not have an email address whatsoever. When I was 22, believe it or not, I had no email address. I got through high school and I think most of college. Like, I may have had 1 year left of college when I created my original email address, which I still have, but hardly ever check. And I basically had no reason to create an account, because when I needed to communicate with my professors via email, I'd usually get my dad to do it, and he had a work email. Okay, so I didn't have an email address. Then I created an email address, I want to say like the fall of 2005, during that really bad hurricane season. And I needed to contact my professors about things being postponed due to Hurricane Rita. You know, we were off even though it wasn't a direct hit. Okay, so I needed to find out when these tests would be postponed to. Okay, so I created an email address, and for almost a year I had no idea what Yahoo Answers was. Okay, then that summer I got into Yahoo Answers, and because of that one site and their little avatar characters, which are basically a cartoon that you dress up like a doll, I went from having just my original email address, which if I could do it all over again, I would never register that account to Yahoo Answers. Okay, to having like a handful, like 4 or 5 accounts, within 24 hours of me registering for Yahoo Answers. And I honestly did not know you were not supposed to do that. Like I did not read the guidelines very well, but until, it started to become a problem, I started getting violations for other things. That's when I started to read the community guidelines and say, uh-oh, I have multiple accounts. I really shouldn't. But at that point, it was too late. I already had lots of points accumulated on all these accounts. And I ended up reaching level 5 by Halloween. And then I got suspended in early November, which wasn't long after that. And all these other accounts had leveled up by that point. They weren't all a bunch of level 1 accounts, though I wish they had been, because what good does it do me right now, to have all these suspended accounts with all these points that I can't use. So anyway, I got suspended, but I didn't restart until the spring of 2007. And I reached level 7 by October, basically a year after I had reached level 5 on my original account. So, 14 years ago, all this was going on with me and Yahoo Answers. And it's amazing how I hardly ever check that site whatsoever anymore. So yeah, and I participated as a male avatar, or a male character, because, and it's like, it's one of the many things that my mom would like to blame for me being whatever you want to say I am. She's always wanted to blame, various external sources for me being the way I am. But the reality is, the ability to create an avatar that's male or female has nothing to do with me preferring, masculine things. It has nothing to do with it. The reality is that it's the other way around. I wanted a male avatar simply because I like masculine clothing and gender neutral things, So I decided to participate as a male, for the simple reason that my original account had been female, and I wanted male privilege online, so to speak. Whatever is better, for male users, I wanted that to be true for me. If people like their answers better, then I wanted to be seen as a male. So it's just amazing how, if only I had seen the future back then. If only I had known that I wouldn't always have to be ashamed of the fact that I was participating as a male yet menstruating in the real world. If only I could have known that there would come a day very soon, like within 9 years, when that would change. Maybe I felt somewhat happier. So anyway, happy 14th birthday to my level 7 account on Yahoo Answers, which still has a male avatar and name. I just never wanted to change it. Sure, I could have changed it back to my real name or made it more gender neutral, but I just never wanted to do that, because people got used to those answers being from Robert. So I decided to keep it that way all these years, and I just hardly ever used that account. But I have gotten some violations on it, so I have to be somewhat careful, because I would sure hate to lose that account, or have another suspended account, that once had 125,000 points or so, and 95% best answer. So, yeah, sure would hate to lose that, for a stupid question. Like, I'm sure you can imagine some of the things that have most recently gotten me, I wouldn't say violations, because they do it differently. I don't know why. They can delete a question without ever sending a violation notice for some reason. They used to always send you a violation when they deleted something. But you can imagine what I asked a question about most recently that got deleted. Okay? I hope you can read that. Angelica shat her pants, everybody. So yeah, if only I could have known, that 14 years later I would still be alive. I would still not be on testosterone, much to my dismay. I always fantasized about getting on it and, tracking not only my voice change, but how many points I might increase, during that time. I might be, keeping up with those things online, but of course Yahoo Answers is not the place to keep up with that. If you choose to keep up with that, you're better off with a blog site or YouTube, which is where I found out about that community. and also discovered, information and questions on Yahoo Answers about that, much to my mom's dismay, but it was mostly through the research feature. I wasn't actually asking questions, I was just, finding them based on search terms. So yeah, that's really, I think that's the link I followed, to the YouTube trans community. Somehow or another, I may have typed like becoming a man or something, or voice change. And somehow or another, that link led me to some YouTube channel. And from there, I just sort of binge watched their videos. And this was like way back in 2007, when it was fairly new. YouTube was only about 2 years old. Or, wow, is it the same age as Yahoo Answers? Wow, 2005, both YouTube and Yahoo Answers were introduced. Whoa, I feel so old. So yeah, I was like 22 in 2005. So yeah, that was the really bad record-breaking hurricane season where we had Katrina, Rita, Wilma, etc. And we went into the Greek alphabet. So yeah, feeling like a dinosaur, even though I hate dinosaurs. But, I just want to document that. 14 years on Yahoo Answers. And I hope I don't get any more violation notices for saying Angelica shat her pants, which is why I don't use Yahoo Answers. I use pretty much any other site except Reddit and Yahoo Answers to talk about that. And, I just feel like the world needs to know, and if I get a bad experience, or if someone reacts negatively, I just try another site, and basically, just wanted to say that. And also, I also want to say, like, I don't want to title this in my video or put it in the description, but I think Rugrats fans are pretty simple, okay? They're very simple-minded because, it's like the mere fact that I am the first and only person to make the mental connections that I've made about the show proves that there just aren't a lot of people with a high IQ that are really into that show. The fact that people on Yahoo Answers ask, why was she wearing a diaper on top of her tights or outside of her tights? And it's like, you idiot, she's wearing freaking leg warmers with a diaper or training pants. Why does no one realize that? Go to babylegs.com and you'll see an example of that. Nobody would put a diaper on top of a pair of tights or on the outside of a pair of tights. And the mere fact that, everyone is just so hell-bent on believing that she's potty trained, despite her never demonstrating that. She never demonstrates her ability to even pee on the toilet, let alone wipe her butt, which I consider an important part of potty training. And another thing about Yahoo Answers is that it's also where I learned the term sharding. Even though the movie Along Came Polly was 2 years old by the time I found that question. It's where I learned things like sharding and prairie dogging and follow through and, all these euphemisms for pooping in your pants from farting. Okay? So, that, I guess that's how I actually discovered the site, was I typed the word poop, pants in a search engine, and thankfully I found Yahoo Answers as opposed to something more X-rated. So yeah, it's like the mere fact that I am the first and only person to ever ask a question on Yahoo Answers about her pooping in her pants in the third movie, and of course it got deleted, and I don't think it had any answers to begin with. It just proves that there aren't a lot of highly intelligent people that are into that show. It's like, why? Why are Rugrats fans so simple-minded? It's like they're either a child or an adult that thinks more like a child and isn't very logical. They just can't think outside of the box. They just can't put two and two together. They just can't figure things out. Okay, and they have this stupid idea, that because she's so-called potty trained, or, they believe that because Chucky is potty trained that she automatically is, because she's older and a girl and talking, and they also believe that, because she's potty trained, she could never have sharded her pants. Well, I'm pretty sure Philip Seymour Hoffman would have told you or even, as the movie character, he would have told you that he was potty trained. If you could have asked the character, "Are you potty trained?" I'm sure he would have said yes, but guess what? He sharded. So yeah, her being potty trained does not preclude her having gone number two in her pants, in that movie or any other incident. So yeah, I just feel like Rugrats fans are very simple minded. They make very linear conclusions about things. They think that because Dill and Tommy are the only ones that are really associated with diapers, even though, what, 5 out of the 8 kids wear them for sure. They think that because, Tommy's the baby in the exposed diaper and Dill is the only one that says poopy when he does it, that they're the only two that it could be. They're just, they're just so simple minded, I swear. And it's like, they're defensive. You say anything negative about their show and it hurts their feelings. But, that's just among the many reasons. I would just never wear that shirt. Never wear that show on a shirt, I like plain clothing. But I would like to have a Yahoo Answers shirt that says, "I am a level 7 participant on Yahoo Answers," because that is a sign of intelligence.